God alone my soul waits in silence. From him comes my salvation. Psalm 62 verse 1. It's a beautiful prayer by King David. There is something striking here, something strange. Normally, one would say, I wait in silence for God's salvation. But the psalmist chooses his words here very carefully. He does not say, I wait. He says, my soul waits. Why does he say it like this? Instead of saying, I wait, he says, my soul waits. At first glance, it may look like a poetic style. But this is not just poetic language. There is a deep spirituality hidden here. It's quite interesting and it can deeply move our hearts to God. In the first phase, we need to understand what soul means in this verse. The Hebrew word used here for soul is nephesh. The word nephesh primarily means the breath of life. It also refers to the inner life of a person, the deepest core of one's being, and ultimately life itself. So the prayer could almost be heard like this: for God alone my inner breath waits. And here there is one more interesting thing. This understanding takes us back to the book of Genesis. In Genesis chapter 2 verse 7, we are told that God formed the human being from the dust of the earth and breathed into him the breath of life. And the human being became a living nephesh, breath of life. Here, the psalmist implicitly acknowledges that he is created by God, that his breath comes from God, and that God is the author of his life. By using the word nephesh, David is confessing that his very existence, his life breath, and his inner being originate from God. When the psalmist says, my soul waits, he is saying, with the breath you gave me, I am waiting for you, O God. He doesn't credit anything before God. This is such a wonderful attitude we need to imitate. This is not waiting with ideas or emotions. It is not waiting with the mind alone, nor with the spoken words, nor with mere physical presence. This is waiting with life itself. There are no alternatives left. And when a person waits like this before God in prayer, placing his very life in God's hands, God responds by offering salvation. There is one more important point to be discussed here. What does the psalmist mean by waiting in silence? Silence here does not mean that there is no pain, no questions, no struggles in life. Rather, silence means that there is no argument with God, no demanding of explanations, and no forcing of answers. At times, the psalmist feels that he is not worthy or does not deserve to be saved. He has nothing to say in his defense. He does not argue or claim merit. Instead, he comes before God with only one thing: the life that God has given him. Nothing more than that. This becomes the silence of humility. The psalmist stands before God quietly and humbly, not as someone who tries to control God, but as someone who trusts God completely and totally. So when we stand in prayer before God, we are invited to come not only with our own thinking mind, not only with a restless heart, not only with a spoken praise, and even not only with the bodily presence, but by offering our nephesh, our very life, before Him. And at the same time, we are also called to remain in true silence, without arguing with God, without demanding explanations, without forcing answers, and without insisting on our own understanding. God bless us.